I'm Dr. Randy Kamen. Welcome to Strategies to Spark Your Week. Today I'm going to be talking about the 4 agreements, which is a philosophy about how to live a life of integrity and personal empowerment. Do you sometimes make agreements with yourself to stop a certain behavior like eating sugar, putting others down, or indulging too much in whatever? Perhaps you make agreements to begin certain behaviors like exercising regularly, being more transparent, or eating healthfully. Most of us make these kinds of agreements to improve ourselves and our relationships. We want to create our best possible life, and yet we can at times get in our own way. Bess was a 34-year-old woman, attractive, single, and accomplished attorney living in New York. She lived comfortably in her condo, made a good living, but she had no close friends and a succession of unfulfilling relationships with men. She struggled with sustaining connections with others and often felt quite lonely. Only at work did she feel empowered and on her game. Bess could not figure out what got in the way of her having better relationships. Her biological clock was ticking, and Bess was keenly aware that most of the women she knew were in various stages of getting engaged, married, having babies, and growing their families. Most unhappiness comes from the inability to connect with others in a way that feels meaningful and gratifying. Rarely is it about the lacking in the material realm. The primary reason that most people seek out psychotherapy is related to some rupture in their ability to communicate with others and the anxiety and depression that ensues. Where the rupture emanates from is secondary to the fact that many people struggle with the ability to stay happily plugged into the most important relationships in their lives. Physician and spiritual leader and teacher Don Miguel Ruiz created a template for personal development, behavior, communications, and healthy relationships based on the spiritual knowledge and practices of his Mexican ancestors. He believed the principles as outlined in his book, The 4 Agreements, lead to personal transformation. The 4 Agreements offers a code for life which is both timely and relevant for enhancing a sense of well-being and the quality of relationships. Those who cultivate these agreements possess tremendous integrity and have at their disposal an internal compass that guides their journey through life. The 4 agreements are as follows. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity and truth. Say only what you mean. Avoid using your words to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. 2, do not take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality and their own perception. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you will no longer be the victim of needless suffering. 3, do not make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With this one agreement, you can transform your life. 4, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to when you are sick, when you are happy as opposed to when you are sad. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. These agreements can be observed in the most effective leaders on any playing field, but they apply to all of us because they benefit physical, psychological, and spiritual well-being. Bess and I talked about the power of the 4 agreements. And after several months of talking together in therapy, Bess realized that she often personalized what others said or did. For example, if he didn't call, it must have been because of something I did or said, rather than realizing that the actions of another generally had nothing to do with her. She made assumptions about the way both men and women treated her. She avoided expressing her true thoughts and feelings at all costs. There was simply too much risk for Bess to expose her inner reality, and she felt that if she were to take off the mask, she would feel vulnerable and perhaps a fraud. In any case, the risk was too high, and she continued to feel lonely and isolated. When Bess began to slow down as a result of learning some breathing exercises, she clearly observed that other people's choices indeed had little or nothing to do with her. Over time, she felt less fearful of using her voice, her true voice. She became more conscious about expressing herself honestly and compassionately. When she needed clarification, she would ask rather than assume. When she felt hurt or disappointed, she would put words to it, kindly put words to it, and things began to change. Bess's relationship started to flourish as she continued to do her best to communicate with authenticity. You might find it worthwhile to challenge yourself by incorporating these agreements into your daily life. Perhaps you can begin by focusing on one of the agreements and then building from there. Notice what happens in your life when you integrate this code for life into your way of relating to yourself and to others. When you stray from the agreements, have compassion with yourself, connect with your inner guide, and then get back on the path. The rewards will undoubtedly surpass your expectations. I hope this talk sparks you into a greater place of well-being and relational empowerment. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. As always, I can be reached at my website, drrandykamen.com. And please note that the launch of my new retreat, Blueberry Fields MV, will be starting June 4th. It's June 4th through the 7th. Registration is still open, and if you go to the Retreats tab on my website, you'll get all of the details. This retreat will be devoted to retraining the brain for positivity and success. I hope you'll join us. There will be lots of great activities and surprise guests, but most importantly, you'll leave with takeaway skills and strategies that will improve, if not transform, your life. Hope to see you there. I look forward to seeing you in any case next week for another episode of Strategies to Spark Your Week.